In theological colleges generally, I want to say this, they use what's called the Erasmian pronunciation, which is a contrived sort of Latin pronunciation. It's agonizingly bad for a Greek speaker. If you use that pronunciation to a modern Greek speaker, he just can't stand it. It's terrible, actually. So as a modern language person myself, I chose to learn the Greek in the modern Greek pronunciation. That's being done at Harvard, I heard recently, so that's okay. We're with the best. And you'll enjoy this if you have any love of language, and I think most of you do. If you put your voice into a particular position of the tongue, it's voiced. If you don't put your voice in, it's unvoiced. As you know from in English, you have a t, 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 which is unvoiced. Now put your voice into that, d, 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 d. So that's exactly what we mean by voiced and unvoiced. You have the tongue in the same position for voiced and unvoiced, but you engage the vocal cords with a d, 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 and you don't with a t, t, t. Okay, so that's an ah. Perhaps you can learn the sound along with the word itself. Take in as much as you can. Alpha is the name of the letter, and the sound of that is ah. Second letter is vita. That's a B, obviously, our English B, but it's, wait a minute, let's go back to B. B, it's pronounced like a V, vita. Okay, third letter coming up. Gamma. Now that's going to be a little hard for you to do. Not gamma, but rama. It's more like a French R. Ra, ra, rama. Ra, ra, rama. So that's the third letter. And the fourth one, you know, Delta. When you refer to Delta Airlines, you can now call them Delta Airlines. That's a voiced TH. Delta. There's a D. Delta. Okay, next letter. That's an easy one. Epsilon. And it sounds like an E. Epsilon. That's a zeta. A Z for us. Zeta, and the sound of that letter is Z, as in buzzard. Z, Z, Z. Zeta. That's an eta. You've already heard that the sound of E is very common in Greek. So when I taught this language in college, we always said, if in doubt, say E. If you don't know what it is, say E, and you may well be right. So many of the letters and the combination of letters, the diphthongs, have the sound of E. There's eta, eta. And this is theta, theta. A TH. You know that from your mathematics, don't you? Yota. That's an E sound, and it's a yota, the smallest letter, like a jot or a tittle. A yod, that's what Jesus mentioned, the yod or the yota as the small letter. That's a sound of E. Kappa, very easy. Kappa, a K sound. Kappa. That one is lambda. That's a voiced TH, not lamtha, but lambda. Lambda, I think that's one of the strains of COVID that they're talking about eventually. Lambda. It's a sound of L. L, 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 L. Lambda. That's a me. An M, 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 M. The letter is called me. The N sound, our English N, N, N. Ni is the name of the letter. The sound of it is N, ni. This one you're going to find fairly easy. It's xi, K-S at the beginning, K-S-E-E, xi, xi. That's easy. That's a little o, an omicron, micro. A micro O, a small o. O. That's P, P, and the name of the letter is P. I thought when you were giving you the first impression of this, we might as well give you the sound as well as the name of the letter. That's like a trilled R in English. Ro, meaning an R sound, r, 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 not a guttural R as in German or Hebrew, but an R as we would say it more or less, ro. That's a good one. Sigma. Now you've got two forms of it. Some of the letters have two forms. Sigma, when it's at the end of the word, is called a final sigma. That's the second one there. And it has two forms. At the end of a word, it is written that way. Then we have tough. That's a T sound, and it is pronounced as a tough. That's a U sound, and guess what? It's an E. When in doubt, say E. Eepsilon, eepsilon, eepsilon. Looks like a U in English. This one is a phi, PH, or F. So that's the circle with the vertical line through it. That's a phi. And this one is, as in Johann Sebastian Bach, a guttural CH. He, not xi, which we did just now, but he, as in Johann Sebastian Bach. If you know the German, that's very easy for you. So that's a guttural CHEE. Psi, not xi, not KSEE, but PSEE. Psi, that's a rather artistic letter. Psi, fairly rare. And finally, you know this one, omega, that's big O. You didn't know that. We had little o, omicron. Now we have big O, it's an O sound, same sound as omicron. O. But this is a mega O, an omega, a big O. And you all know about alpha and omega, don't you, from your reading Revelation? God and Jesus are both said to be the beginning and the end, the ultimate in salvation. So alpha and omega. If you know some Spanish, that will help you. Okay, that's a V sound, as in very. So V. V. This one is actually a voiced CH. If you think of ch, as in Bach, then put your voice in it, you've got r, Rama, a voiced German CH, Rama. That is Delta. So think of Delta Airlines. Not Delta, but Delta, voice TH. Delta, as in Delta Airlines. Epsilon, as in bet. That one is a Z. Zeta is the name, and the sound is Z. Z. This one is easy. It's an eta. A double E in English. E. Eta. And the TH is a th. TH. Then yota. E. When in doubt, say E. And then that's a K. That's a kappa. Kappa. This one then is a little tricky. It's the L sound in English. L. The name of the letter, as you see, is lambda with a voice, but the sound is L, as in English, L. L. That sound is, of course, M, as in mummy, ma'am, Michigan, and so on. M. Name of it is me. This one is very easy. It's the sound of N in English, N. Xi. That's the sound of X, KS. X. Fairly rare letter. Omicron, that's a little O, you see, and a micro O. So O as in obey. It's the same sound as omega. The same sound as omega, the last letter of the alphabet. O. Okay, that's very easy because you know that from pi r squared, your mathematics. This is a p. And that's a r, a trilled R, Italian R, if you like, rather than French, not a French R, not a German R, not a Hebrew R, but a ro. Sigma, s, 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 s. Unvoiced, not z, 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 but s, s, s. And that's a t, t, very easy, t, t, t. The sound there is tricky because it looks like a U, and the sound is E, epsilon. And then that's a PH sound, an F sound, phi, f, 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 f. Okay, that's an unvoiced CH. He, not ri, not ri. If I voice the ch, it becomes r. So it's not that, it's an unvoiced he, as in Johann Sebastian Bach. Psi, ps, 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 ps. Unvoiced, an unvoiced sound. Ps, 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 ps. As in psalm, which we don't say, it's too difficult, so we say psalm. Okay, that's very easy. It's the same sound as omicron. The two O's, the omicron, the little O and the big O's, make the same sound. O, obey. O. Alpha. A. Vita. V. Rama. R. Rama. Yes. Delta. Voiced. Delta. The. Epsilon. E. Zeta. Z. Zeta. Eta. E-E-T-A. Eta. E-E-E. Eta. Theta. An unvoiced TH at the beginning. Theta. Yota. An E sound. Double E. Yota. That's a K. Kappa, as in an English K. K. Lambda, not lambda, but lambda, because the D is a delta. So lambda, that's an L. L. Okay, that's a M, as in mam, as in mutter. M. That's a ni, an N sound in English. Ni. You're going to have to learn to write these, by the way. It would be worth take a little time to. It's fun to write it. They're pretty words, pretty letters. Ni, that's a N. Right. Xi, that's a KS. Xi, unvoiced. Xi. Squiggly one. Omicron, a little O. Same as omega. O. That's a P, as in pi r squared. P. The name of the letter is P, which is difficult because the sound is P. All right. Ro, a trilled R, slightly trilled R. Ro. And sigma is an S sound, and it has two forms because the second form is when the letter is the last letter in a word. That's difficult. So you have two forms of it. Sound is S. That's a T. That's epsilon. So it's a double E sound at the beginning. Epsilon. That's a PH. Phi. F. Like our English letter F. Chi. Okay, psi is a PS, ps, as in psalm if we pronounce it fully, but it's a PS sound. Omega, big O, omega.